Listen closely, because this is urgent. Life is moving faster than most of us realize, and the path meant for the chosen cannot wait another day. Every breath you take, every step you make, carries the power to shape your destiny, yet most walk blind, unaware of the currents beneath their feet. I am Shi Heng Yi, and today I need to speak to those ready to awaken, to step into a rhythm of life that few ever discover. In this video, you will learn how true mastery begins, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, deliberate presence of each moment. You will uncover how stillness, often dismissed as emptiness, reveals the hidden flows of life, guiding decisions before the mind even understands. We will explore the ancient principles of Shaolin wisdom, the subtle discipline of controlling thought, and the often overlooked power hidden in restraint and breath. You will see why those who claim to be strong are often weak in the one place that truly matters within. And you will understand how aligning every word, every thought, every motion with awareness opens doors that most never even notice exist. By the end, you will hold insights that are rarely spoken aloud, lesser-known truths that shift perspective and sharpen the edge of your life. These are not ideas to ponder casually. They are keys to walking a path that is demanding, precise, and deeply freeing. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Here we speak not to entertain but to awaken. Subscribe now, step closer to the path, and stay with me until the very end, because what follows could change how you move, breathe, and act in every moment of your life. Every thought carries weight, unseen yet undeniable, like a stone dropped into still water. Its ripples stretch far beyond what the eye can measure. I am Shi Heng Yi, and I have watched too many lives swept into chaos, not by the world, but by the untrained currents of the mind. Thoughts left unchecked gather speed, turning into storms that overturn intentions, blur perception, and scatter energy like leaves in the wind. The Shaolin masters teach that the mind, untamed, is a river without banks. It rages, it twists, it carves paths of destruction where none should be. And yet within the same river lies potential, if you learn to observe without attachment, if you watch the current without jumping in. This is the subtle art of clarity, seeing each thought as it arises, acknowledging it, then letting it pass without claiming it as truth or action. Control over thought is not suppression, it is the quiet discipline of awareness, the gentle cultivation of inner space where clarity can grow. Every morning, every breath, presents the chance to practice this skill. Pause. Notice the anger that rises. Notice the fear. Notice the impulse to react before understanding. Simply watch. Let the thought exist without forcing it to move your body or shape your words. Shaolin insight says that mastery over action begins in the mind. Before a hand strikes, before a word is spoken, before a choice is made, the thought has already carved the path. To act without awareness is to act in the chaos of a wild river. To act with observation is to guide that river, turning its flow into power, precision, and purpose. This is where the inner battle is won, long before the world even notices. Breath carries more than air, it carries life itself, a subtle thread connecting the body, mind, and spirit. Each inhale draws in clarity, each exhale releases what clouds judgment and drains energy. In the quiet rhythm of breath lies a doorway, a way to anchor the self when the world pushes and pulls without pause. Deep, intentional breathing is not merely a tool, it is the master key to presence, focus, and inner balance. Shaolin practice teaches that breath, posture, and focus are inseparable. A warrior standing rigid yet breathing shallowly is unarmed. A mind tense but breath steady is not yet disciplined. The body must align with the air that moves through it, each vertebra, each joint a channel through which energy flows. The breath becomes a guide, moving attention into the center of the body, settling the mind and drawing power from stillness. In motion or in stillness, the breath dictates rhythm. When a hand moves, it follows the pulse of inhalation or exhalation. When the mind hesitates, the breath smooths the edges, cutting through confusion like wind clearing fog over a mountain peak. It is through this unity, breath, posture, focus, that awareness becomes seamless, a single current of energy flowing through every decision, every action. Ancient masters understood that the simplest acts, repeated with discipline, shaped the strongest foundation. Sitting quietly, standing poised, moving deliberately, each breath taken with intention strengthens mastery over self. Through this practice, intuition awakens. Subtle signals, easily missed in distraction, become clear. Choices are no longer reactions, they are extensions of clarity. In the rhythm of breath, the hidden currents of life are revealed, and the path forward becomes unmistakable, not forced, but naturally aligned with the energy that moves within and around. Words are powerful, but silence holds a deeper force, an invisible weight that shapes the mind and sharpens perception. Speaking less does not signal weakness, it signals mastery. Each word carries energy, and each utterance leaves a trace in the world. The untrained speak to fill space, to soothe ego, or to react. The wise speak only when clarity, intention, and timing converge. Silence is often mistaken for emptiness, but in truth, it is a tool forged in discipline. In quiet, the mind becomes a mirror, reflecting the subtle rhythms of life that noise obscures. A leaf falls, a shadow moves, a shift in energy passes unnoticed by the loud, but immediately seen by the silent observer. The Shaolin masters teach that the one who listens first, who waits, who chooses each word deliberately, acts with power rather than impulse. Discernment grows in stillness. Decisions born from silence are precise because they are free from distraction, free from the pull of reactive emotion. Every pause becomes a space to understand what truly matters, to weigh consequences, and to sense the flow of timing. Alignment with the divine, with the natural order of things, is found not in speaking endlessly, but in listening intently, observing patiently, and moving in harmony with the unseen currents of life. Through silence, presence strengthens. A person who masters the quiet becomes magnetic, not through noise or force, but through focus, attention, and inner gravity. Eyes sharpen, intuition awakens, and energy no longer leaks through careless words. This is not restraint born of fear, it is restraint born of mastery. In choosing when to speak, one discovers the power to shape reality with precision, to act with purpose, and to move through life in accordance with a rhythm far older and wiser than words can convey. True power does not come from force, noise, or haste, it comes from coherence. When thought, intention, and movement are aligned, action carries weight, precision, and presence. The body becomes a vessel for mind and spirit, and every gesture resonates with purpose. In such moments, even the smallest act can ripple far beyond the immediate, because it is not divided, it is whole. Impulsive actions, by contrast, scatter energy like wind over dry leaves. They appear urgent, but their force is wasted, their potential diluted. A hand that strikes without thought, a word spoken in haste, a step taken without clarity, each fragments the inner current, leaving the mind restless and the body drained. Discipline is the antidote, training the self to pause, to consider, and to synchronize intent with action. Ancient masters understood this intimately. A warrior does not rush, a monk does not fidget. Every movement begins in stillness, every decision rooted in clarity. Thought moves first, shaping intention, which in turn guides movement. The world often mistakes speed for strength, but speed without unity is chaos. True mastery is measured not by how quickly one acts, but by how fully every part of oneself participates in the action. Energy is finite, yet it multiplies when channeled. When mind, heart, and body converge, the simplest motion can carry the force of mountains. Each deliberate step conserves power while amplifying impact, creating a rhythm that others sense before words are spoken. Coherence transforms effort into effect, potential into reality. This is the discipline of the chosen path: to act with precision, to align with purpose, and to allow every movement to echo the order that runs unseen through life itself. The path is narrow, and it asks for clarity that many are unwilling to give. Every day brings 1,000 whispers, distractions that promise comfort, illusions that glitter with false power, impulses that demand immediate attention. To walk steadily, one must learn the art of saying no, not out of fear or avoidance, but out of respect for the energy that sustains life. Each refusal is a shield, each boundary a step toward inner freedom. Shaolin philosophy teaches that restraint is not a cage, it is not limitation, nor a denial of life, it is liberation. The mind that can pause, that can observe desire without surrendering, cultivates a power invisible to those who chase every impulse. Consider the river constrained by its banks, its flow is guided, precise, unstoppable, without boundaries. The water spreads thin, loses direction and drowns what it could nourish. So too does the undisciplined spirit scatter itself, chasing fleeting temptations, losing the strength that could carry it far. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment. Each moment of restraint trains the body, sharpens the mind, and clarifies intention. It is in these quiet acts, in resisting what is easy and alluring, that true freedom is forged. The path demands patience, persistence, and vigilance, for the world is designed to pull attention outward, to fragment focus, to seduce with false urgency. Yet those who hold themselves accountable, who honor the practice of saying no, discover an inner sovereignty. Illusions fade, distractions lose power, and reactive impulses dissolve before the steady gaze of awareness. Life becomes less about chasing, more about moving with purpose, clarity, and strength. Each refusal is a statement. Energy belongs to the self, to the chosen path, to mastery. Liberation is found not in indulging every desire, but in choosing what deserves your mind, your time, and your presence. Gratitude is a quiet force, subtle yet transformative, capable of reshaping the lens through which life is seen. When the mind lingers on what is missing, it tightens, contracts, and perceives the world as scarce and unforgiving. But when attention rests on what is already present, even the smallest blessing's perception expands. Abundance is not a distant prize, it is a recognition, a shift in awareness that opens the heart and sharpens the mind. Ancient masters understood that the mind is fertile soil, what is sown grows, and what is ignored withers. Daily acknowledgement of what is good, what supports life, what offers comfort or insight, nourishes this soil. The habit of noticing, of pausing to honor even the simplest gifts, a warm breath, a steady heartbeat, a quiet moment, rewires the subconscious. Over time, the mind ceases to grasp at illusions of lack and begins to see opportunity, alignment, and unseen connections in every corner of life. Gratitude is not passive, it is an active cultivation of presence and discipline. To give attention to blessings is to choose energy, to feed the currents that guide growth and mastery. The one who practices gratitude develops resilience, because even in hardship, the mind trained to see what sustains it remains centered, clear, and strong. In this way, the spirit becomes like a garden tended with care. Neglect leaves it overrun with weeds of doubt, resentment, and fear. Careful observation and daily acknowledgement allow seeds of insight, courage, and joy to flourish. Life begins to move differently. Challenges are met with composure, opportunities are recognized swiftly, and the energy once wasted on scarcity flows instead into creation, learning, and strength. Gratitude, quietly practiced, transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the mind into a landscape where mastery can grow without obstruction. Close your eyes and picture the person you are becoming, not as a distant dream, but as a living presence within. Every thought, every vision of self, imprints itself on the mind, shaping character and resilience long before action follows. The ancient masters knew this truth. The mind cannot fully distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is lived. Mental rehearsal is not fantasy, it is training, a subtle forging of strength and precision in the unseen. When the mind dwells deliberately on skill, discipline, or composure, the body begins to follow, almost automatically. A calm breath taken in visualization steadies the actual heartbeat. A poised movement, practiced in thought, guides the hand when action becomes necessary. Each imagined scenario, rehearsed with intensity and clarity, strengthens neural pathways, refines instinct, and cultivates confidence. The seeds of mastery are planted here, invisible yet potent, before the first step is ever taken in the world. Resilience is born in these quiet rehearsals. Facing challenges in thought allows the spirit to adapt, to respond with measured action rather than frantic reaction. Opportunity, too, is drawn to clarity of vision. The mind, tuned to the self it seeks to become, begins to recognize openings that were always present, yet invisible to those untrained in the discipline of foresight. This practice is not a substitute for life, it is preparation for it. The chosen path is walked with awareness of every mental and emotional gesture, for the images we cultivate in the mind ripple outward, shaping intention, behavior, and destiny. By seeing the self clearly before the world tests it, the mind, body, and spirit begin to converge, forming the seamless alignment of presence, purpose, and power that defines true mastery. Every word spoken leaves a mark, every thought a subtle vibration, every action a wave that spreads far beyond immediate sight. Few see it, yet the currents are always moving, shaping life in ways both gentle and profound. The ancients understood this law intuitively. Nothing exists in isolation. A careless glance, a fleeting irritation, a thought left unchecked. These carry weight, altering the balance of energy around and within us. Awareness of this truth changes how one moves through life. Integrity becomes natural because the consequences of deviation are no longer abstract. They are felt, even if unseen. Patience grows because impulsive reactions are recognized as disturbances in the flow, scattering energy and weakening purpose. Precision becomes a habit because every gesture, every syllable, every choice is understood as an instrument of influence, capable of creating or dissolving harmony. The Shaolin masters teach that mastery is less about force and more about alignment with the unseen laws that govern cause and effect. A practitioner who moves with awareness, who considers each thought before it becomes speech, who measures every action against the currents it may stir, steps into a rhythm of life where power is not loud or chaotic, but deep and enduring. In this way, discipline is not a restriction, it is a cultivation of subtle impact. By observing the ripples we generate, we learn to act with clarity and intention. The mind becomes a calm pond rather than a stormy sea, and the energy released from that stillness carries far, shaping circumstances and relationships with quiet authority. Through awareness of this law, life becomes a practice of mastery, each day an opportunity to harmonize thought, word, and deed with the greater order that moves silently through all things. Solitude is not emptiness, it is the forge where the spirit is tempered. To walk the path of mastery, one must step away from noise, from expectation, from the constant pull of the world. In these quiet hours, the mind becomes a mirror, reflecting hidden patterns, unseen desires, and the subtle currents of energy that shape life. Reflection sharpens discernment, cultivates patience, and roots action in clarity rather than reaction. Yet solitude does not sever connection. The chosen are never truly alone. Even in isolation, their presence resonates with the order of the universe, harmonizing with the rhythms that guide seasons, tides, and the unseen flow of life. Each breath, each thought, each moment of stillness aligns with forces far greater than the self, drawing insight, guidance, and strength from realms invisible to the untrained eye. The ancients understood that retreat is preparation, not withdrawal. A monk seated in quiet does not escape the world, he tunes into it. Observing the mind and body, he learns timing, precision, and restraint. Patterns become visible, decisions gain depth, and the soul cultivates an inner compass that points true even when chaos surrounds. Through solitude, the spirit learns independence without isolation. Awareness expands, intuition strengthens, and energy is preserved for when action must be taken. Reflection is a practice of discipline. It teaches restraint, nurtures patience, and fosters harmony within and without. In this balance, mastery reveals itself not as control over others, but as alignment with the natural order. The quiet one moves through